Hey, my name is Jackanoid, and I'm going to be submitting for Tetris the Absolute, the Grandmaster 2 Plus. I'll be running the game's Master Mode. Master Mode is considered to be the main mode in the TGM series, where the goal is obviously to get the title of Grandmaster. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of go through this run, essentially. So basically, Master Mode is a marathon of 999 levels, and you have to get to the end pretty much as fast as possible while also meeting specific requirements to get GM. In the first game, you had to meet a few time and score requirements that, with practice, you can get pretty consistently. TGM2 takes that and they made it significantly harder, where it demands a lot more consistency, clean play, that I will explain right now. So one of the key implementations that the developers did is that they added a feature called Sonic Drop. So if you input up on your joystick, it will drop the piece all the way to the bottom of the stack, but it's not locking Sonic Drop. You essentially have to manually lock the piece. So on my joystick, I'm kind of doing these quick flicks of up and down motions. The other thing that they did is that they changed the requirements. So because that there is 999 levels, they broke the game down into sections of levels of 100. So 0 to 100, 100 to 200, and etc. So in the first half of the game, so 0 to 500, there are two requirements that you have to meet per section. The player must score at least 2 Tetrises and finish each section in no later than 1 minute and 5 seconds. For beginner players, this is very difficult to do, as basically time attack, it requires a lot of precise inputs and inputs on the playfield where they are input efficient. So essentially, I'm not using a lot of time to place pieces down in a certain way, and I can just go through quick succession. So my pace right now, it's looking a little slow. I'm kind of barely skating by the 1 minute and 5 second per section requirement, but I'm getting my Tetrises. As with each section that gets faster, or as with each section progresses, the game starts to speed up. The gravity starts to increase, where it goes all the way to instant gravity, which will be very helpful for me into locking down pieces as fast as I can. It also is known as awkward G because it's not quite instant gravity, but it's also not the slowest gravity that's in the game. I am also trying to keep my playfield as clean and flat as I can, but sometimes you have to do these overhangs as they are pretty efficient. And with the way that the rotation system is, you can do some interesting tucks and circular motions with the joystick. Alright, so 3 minutes and 4 seconds. I'm cutting it pretty close. But like I said before, as you progress through the game, the gravity gets a lot faster, so I can play a lot faster and sort of catch up. So where the grade is on the top right, you'll also see two medals underneath it. Those are ST and SK. ST basically is the section time for how close you were to the fastest section time on the board. And SK is how many Tetrises that you have done so far. There's a chart that basically awards the medal for certain conditions that are met. This is good because it tells us a couple of things, that the time is okay, and the player has definitely met the Tetris requirements for each section. Alright, so now we're getting down to 400. This is the last section before it speeds up to instant gravity. And I did transfer below 4 minutes, so my overall time is getting faster. I need to basically play as fast as I can to get enough cushion for the second half of the game and to meet those requirements in that section. I also am looking to get at least a grade 1 for when I transition, because it not only shows I'm on good pace, but it'll be closer to get to S9, which is the grade that you need at the end of the game. Yeah, so I'm trying to avoid those singles because Tetrises and triples are a lot more efficient. With every line clear that you get, also advances you in those lines. So we'll hear the music stop. And we officially entered in the second half of the game. So now we're in instant gravity. You can see the gold numbers that are flashing. And of course, again, the music has changed. So now the requirements look a little bit different. In the second half, the player must score at least one Tetris. And the time requirement, essentially, you have to be no more than 2 seconds slower than your previous section. So speed here is pretty critical, and also maintaining a clean stack. So with 20G, I'm trying to keep it as flat as possible, but also getting fast clears. Because I need to get to the game with my S9 in 8 minutes, in less than 8 minutes and 45 seconds. So I'm at S2 right now. This is really good pace so far. The thing with the time requirement is that if you have, let's say, a very fast section in, let's say, 500, but then you have a messy stack in 600 that you have to spend a lot of time cleaning up in, or you get hit with a level stop where the game gets to 99 and you don't clear a line, so you're stuck there until you clear a line, that can be a potential run killer. So I got my Tetris for the section, and I'm at the S4. But essentially, the further that you get into the game awards you a score multiplier. So to get to that S9, you have to get as fast as possible. So at 700, the game speeds up. The way that the developers did this is that they shortened all the delays, so the line clear animation and the lock delay, and as it gets to the end of the game, those delays will get shorter and shorter. That one Tetris requirement is also really easy to miss because you could have a very fast section, but you could forget to get the Tetris. And I've done that so many times. So I'm looking to go below or around a 720 to transition to 800. And the speed has changed again. So this is before it gets as fast as possible to the end of the game. And I'm just trying to get as close as I can to that S9. I want to transition out of this with an S8. Basically, I just had to score all Tetrises basically to ensure that something special happens at the end of the game. If you fail any one of these requirements, you automatically fail the challenge to get the Grandmaster grade. Clear that level stop, and now I'm on the last section. I transitioned right below 8 minutes, so I got a pretty good pace. I just need to make sure I get my S9 and finish not slow enough where the section requirement gets to me. So I'm just slamming pieces down as fast as I can, pretty much. And I'm just trying to set up here for a Tetris. Getting pretty high up on the board. And then I got the S9, so I got pretty much everything. I just need to finish, essentially, and just be ready for the credit roll. So if you meet all the requirements, you are presented with the M roll, and you have to survive the M roll for at least 61 seconds to get the grade of Grandmaster. This is something that I have done before, but having a good starting stack is very critical, and you can only remember so much on your board, essentially. So just kind of trying to play for survival on here. It's also playing at the maximum speed in Master Mode with the instant gravity, so you don't have a lot of time. And sometimes the roll just doesn't work out, but an M grade is still considered a very strong performance. There's a big jump from players that get S9 to M and GM, which are the two top grades that players are striving for. So overall, pretty good run. I think the roll should have just gone a little bit better if I just had a better starting stack. But this is definitely considered a pretty good performance for Master Mode. So thank you for watching, and hope to see y'all at GDQ. Thank you.